Good. Everything is good. So, I can show you something. In here, someone messed with this. Remember that I said that the cats had opened it? Someone just ripped it off and put it back. I know that because the boxes over there, there was no passage here. See this? This crevice here? Yeah, that didn't exist. The box was fully piled up and the things on top of it. Something was there to cause it to change positions, and that wasn't me. That wasn't a cat actually lying. And so, as I said to you, it's very likely that the cats might have caused a little bit of the scratches, but who ripped it off was some of them. And in true fashion, like, you know, the charger on the other phone, on this phone, they also ripped it off one day, then the next day they come to do something else, and the next day they come to something else, and the type of pussy, you know, whatever it is, the fuck this is, that Mission Math is known for. Again, as I said, it takes a long route for you to go from a position of control into being known internationally as piss and shit by face. And that's the point. Also, you can notice that the bag is, well, before it was just ripped it down and seemingly open, right now is all over the place around it. Because piss and shit couldn't be bothered to actually put it back in place as it was. So it's very clear that the bag has been pushed down and removed. Essentially, what I imagine they did was to remove this entire thing and put it back, or at least try to. Trying to might be the thing as well, which we have triggered this thing you saw today. Either way, again, I showed you before, you see it now, maybe it's just an impression of mine. How downstairs it looks very much like it's shoved to the side instead of staying in a whole single pile. That wasn't me, as I said before. And that was it. Now, could the cats being ragged in the bag? Yeah, it's possible that the cats and the food, nothing food inside. But it's somewhat likely there was some of them they tried to remove, realized it couldn't work, or everything already changed places there, and something else. So, my issue though is, my pressing issue is this. I don't know where I'm gonna put that to stay away from the rain. I know that there is a place that is perfect. This is doesn't occur to me yet, likely because it's something that they're throwing on me. The face over there, but this one's that's for something narrow. I don't fully know. This is for the baby, by the way. I prepared this day. Don't really even know if he comes here or not, but it is safe because you can all remove this easily. There's a passage through the bag, so he can just escape. And over there in that one as well, it has the little visor here, which he can see through and also escape in case the criminals see any nearby. Again, everything done to keep them safe, meaning that nothing but the use of heavy narcotics on them in a way that they somehow didn't predict to this point, which again, the baby saw each sibling that he had being kidnapped by the criminals. I say that that's a big fucking question. It's a big ask, not a question. An ask is often a question, but not every question is an ask. It doesn't make any sense. That's my mental state. So as I said, even though I'm not feeling any of those symptoms physically, the psychological impact of the drugs is very much here. During the entire time, as I said, it's being under close watching from one of the devices and from the criminals. There's no halfways about it. And my opinion to you, my suggestion to you is just pin them down to what they're saying. If they want to make a disparaging remark, they're putting their name on the line, right? So once you prove how much they know, you prove how much they stalk, then you prove how much they what they're saying is not disinformation, it's out of active affirmation. In other words, they'll be lying, they're not being correct, they're not being mistaken, they'll be liars. So, again, and I just want to point this out one final time, the idea that with all those things that I have to carry with me, including Chip's block, not the one on top, but Chip's block, the specific and active remark by it, but affirmative, that I could put the thing here to stay here the whole day. Again, his own words. But somehow, leaving the crate, leaving the things there by themselves, in much folded in fashion. So, well, now you think everything's open up. Before, by then, it will be everything closed down. It's temporary, but I cannot think another place. And there's not even a good one for the one that I actually need to move. I just want you to be dealing with some of those things. And you notice this stuck up in my head, as I cannot make a decision, I cannot move, and this is one of the major symptoms of the drugs being thrown on me. Psychological ones, not the major, but one of them is very straightforward. You see that happening several times, you see them take advantage of that several times. You see several times, so they use this to delay me, either to stop me from making a decision, to stop me from moving, several times, right? The whole decision is simple this. In my hand, do I charge the phone a bit more? Do I put it there to charge, by the way, 8% in this little few minutes, 6 minutes. Do I charge a little bit more? Do I keep it with me? What do I do? As I say that's the very goal, that's the very objective, that's the very thing that I'm talking about. To live there in a way where the lack of decision is actually what pins me down instead of a bad decision. Very relevant. Yeah. The earpods are there and they're charged enough. It's strictly to get this phone charging. Not necessarily pick up again. Make it very explicit, very absurd what they're doing to the phones of these days. No, again, back to the same problem. And again, this has far-reaching consequences, as I said before. Every time you see me struggling to move this, every time you see things like that. Now again, I was even considering leaving the evidence box here. I don't know how this happened. Yeah. It didn't happen today, it's already known, but you don't know how it happened, when it happened. So, it boils down to this. And wait a minute, I cannot move. You forget? They ripped the bag, so I need to put another bag in here to replace the one with this screw, to even be able to take the first step out. Because this is, they don't even have a stretch anymore. Remember yesterday as I was crossing the highway back? So, again, plus Chip because of their crimes to her mom. You start to see the pattern already, right? How every single thing that seems to be happening, coincidence, in this month alone, beneficiates them greatly to pin me down to this place specifically. So, again, everybody's blind, everybody's stupid, they're the only ones that are smart. The Mujimers, the ones who are known as Mujimers, are the ones that are smart to everybody else. The ones who caught doing felonies, and very specifically doing felonies, the ones to address by place, the things that are masked and are high. Again, More power to what they think is going to happen. Just let those videos stay there. All those things are public. All the use of drugs is absurdly public. That's on me. As for what it goes. It does take someone just showing up here, a simple cop with our uniform, any day. Because it's not like you stop trying this when there's someone passing the street. So any day, anyone doing so, you notice this. And also have all the other symptoms, both on my body, that you witness happening as mid-film, or mid-audio recording, or mid-call, or mid-whatever, maybe you can see very clearly. The attitude, as you're just witnessing now, of the true victims of this crime, right? You notice the acting up, the attitude, the hands, the head, the whole strip, as that. So, again, for what you get to see. Anybody arriving there will notice. Now again, today the drugs are less noticeable physically, the more psychological, even though you can clearly distinguish, notice that, as I said, and they can. So as I said, that's the reality for what the crimes they're doing. The proof exists here, and all the other terabytes of data, and those are the places that can be the only ones doing now. Right now, I think the wind is blowing from the front as well. Yeah, it's blowing from the front. So that caveat, but other than that, every other day it blows from the back, but other ones I use. Plain and simple, straight effort to see. What's your chip now? Battery is now at 7%. You can see that for the battery saver thing. Pretty good. Oh, and I'm bragging for you, because, as I said before, they better have to be 100% confident. And later on when you figure out what happens in the substances and they tell you, probably through testimony, what they know, I just want you to keep in mind why you have to ask, to inquire, why the confidence. Because they get caught as a whole, right? And then the bragging comes in as a further slash, because if you see this in the press, and the press is involved, and you see on television, criminals posing as victims and then bragging about it and gloating and humiliating the victims of their own crimes, you know that some harsh punishment is coming, right? Because what else? You're going to say what? That's it? Great. That's even better. That's everybody. Do you think that it's just one or two people involved in this? Either way, it's fantastic for me. It's just one way or another. Again, if there's no criminal, then everyone's a criminal. Simple as that. As for the crimes that clearly happened, the issue is that, right? So the entire hopes lie strictly on the possibility that they're going to fool everybody else and they're going to lie to something explicit. Beautiful. Just one thing in mind. Get them to say to you what the expectation was, what the plan was, for them to genuinely believe that that's going to be the getting away thing. Was just actually expecting that everybody else, and talking about like people in all sorts of places throughout this country and nearby, they're going to take a serious hit for whatever ways it comes through that bad PR because of something they did, that they are that influential, that they're just going to just actually lie for some reason, that they're going to do some atrocity to me. Get that and get people to know. I don't even care all that much. Just get people to know what the plan was, the getaway plan. And keep that in mind, because as I said, this level of confidence from little share doesn't come from no reason. Does a spoiled brat having? You can say, yeah, just a fucking spoiled brat, doesn't know anything about the world. But this is shit that then to understand how shitty, especially this place can get. And it might just live in the general expectation. Again, they're not particularly smart. They might live in the general expectation that the guys at Hilton and all the other places are going to take a serious hit to their income because of something they are doing for fun. But that is fine. But they don't seem to be the type of individuals that would have been grown up to spoiled enough to do something else. So, again, Pay close attention to that. I'm not actually pissing. Although I did piss it before, I decided it was very relevant. I'm just pretending to showcase that criminal to you. And what he's doing. So, not really actually paying. I just close. But right now, mostly just to showcase that to you. And as I said, pay close attention to the clothing and to everything else, because that's relevant. That is not just a casual, okay, you saw a cop involved in that, that maybe. That's the confidence of someone who knows, not someone who thinks, someone who knows that nothing will happen. Might be wrong, and sure as hell wrong in this case. But I'm just saying, the type of confidence is not someone who has a glance of an idea. And when something literally can only actually get away, if everybody believes that this crime that you see every day, all the improprieties, all the absurdities, all the parkings in the highway as a stalker, clearly, all the rest, all the explicit stuff don't exist at all, like zero. That doesn't come from, as I said, from just an idea on one statement by a corrupt cop. No. That comes from some assurances coming from someone else. And as I'm saying to you, just tell that to the people. To actual people, not to walk criminals. I'm talking people. Just simple as that. I don't need to know. It doesn't make much of a difference to me. I'll do exactly the same thing in the way. But tell people. My opinion is not a boost to this. And this is how you can get this crime that, just like they are doing, instead of being just a one-time news, or even a documentary, should stay in people's consciousness for a while. Because those things, and you can spread them out, or you can just give focus points later. So, as you're witnessing this, you're witnessing as I discovered it, bits of the time. And now I'm not hoping it's going to last as long as they did, like 4 years. But just the fact it's not going to be a week in news and it's going to last for longer, it causes the impact you expect, right? After all, who's going to bring the family to a place where you say those things have been practiced in impunity? So much drugs that they would essentially have to have thrown in the air on to torture one person systematically, and everybody else will find it funny. The sheer presence of law enforcement, it's like you hadn't seen cops around, right? Again, it's not Somalia. The general expectations. So as I said, once you get everything, once you get the substances, once you get the testimony, once you probably just showed up there. You know, like that guy you saw, that criminal? Act like him. The one who just stopped there, just do it exactly like he does. No, I can't testify. You can see me lucid? Yeah, I'm lucid now, right? You know, there are times I'm not. Can I expect you, right? Do I need to expel it for you? They probably need to. I hope you don't. As I said before, when the quality is necessary, if you think it's smart, right? Let's pick up the phone. It is about to rain. Yeah, I didn't let me charge in that until afternoon. But then I'm pinned down here. I don't know though, I am thinking if I could just do the backups. That's what they're trying to stop. But they're gonna throw a lot of normal drugs on me. I don't know though. I don't know. Yeah, if it rains, and it rains bad, and we're gonna have much sleep, so we'll pick up the other thing. Seu Gels! Seu Gels! Eu deixei o negócio lá pra pegar. Para que eu fique pra minha mãe. And the one day when I would leave, the rain is about to pour. Not true. Inspector. What do you got? Because what else? If I stay here anyways, I'm just waiting, right? Because the phones are fast and that is gonna die in a minute. I was by father by choice. don't know how I couldn't think this before, but I couldn't. Besides, this is the impact it has on me. I need to ditch the fucking box somewhere. Rain's the problem. That's the issue. If we could just leave it there in the back, that'd be fine. But it's not simple. Also, I cannot move. So I have to find where the boxes are, because I know for sure today is there was a box on that thing. I remember to have put that in the backpack with this one, but I'm not finding it. I'm not finding it. Oh, by the way, if you want to know the argument there, as far as the things there also goes, as far as leaving this here, I was not even intending on that. Right now, I glanced at that thought for a second, and I just want to leave it as very simple. The threat is that you just throw away my things the other time, and that's the point. So every time you see me struggling to carry those things, you know, just the one responsible. Because it's not even about criminals coming here to mess with the things here. That's important. That would have been my fear, but that isn't the main point. And to be fair, it wouldn't make any sense anyway. To leave this bag of evidence behind that. What is the expectation? That you have this random bag to arrive in this place and be allowed to just search for everywhere to pick up a random bag? You never saw that happening in 1 year. Or even close to this. Like, yeah, that also will not work. But I'm saying, that is not the fear. The fear is that this criminal specifically would do that. That's, again, if you see my sounding a bit too nice there, again, yes, after that, I tried it in good faith earlier. At this point, there is no good faith because you know the crimes as they happen. Being the only party injured in this, very clearly, with no uncertain terms, I don't feel like I need at any regard to even have. Besides, in case you fail to notice, it knows. It knows what I'm saying, even though it has no legal means to. So, again, not relevant legally, as I said, it has no means to. Lots of of course. But for the people, it's important to understand a bit of context. And the context is this. He knows. You know, this is secret. Right? So, again, this is designed on purpose. But most important, there's not even the bottleneck now. No, the bottleneck is something simpler. I don't have the bag to put the thing in to move out. Which means it's gonna have to go open like this, which is another problem because it's open, but I can seal there with the tape. The tape they increased in price. From the time I went there and the sheep pooped herself because they put something in the air, until the second time the whole thing increased $1. $1 is hardly a big deal. It is relevant for you though, so keep that in mind. What else? Then when I say he knows, there's several references to this, references even to my family in many regards. Not words, not mentions, that's a different thing. I don't even mind the much mentions, are more normal. References though, that they're kind of a big deal. As it happened, all the things that happen back home when they're drugging me. Yeah, I think the like a better option. Put a bag in there, paper around, and we're good. You know. Again, we don't really have a choice. Oh, this one is actually a bit simpler, and this one is a bit of a double-edged sword. Unlike the evidence, which, well, damaged, it's not comes back, this thing only has inside the piece that never worked, plus the cat toy, some bottles, some weird things. The most valuable thing by far, the cat toys, And again, that comes with some toll as well, particularly after all the cruelty they did to those animals. But something is not doing harm to anyone. It's like mine, even when I'm put it. Just a potato again. I know. Ironically enough, of all the things that I said, the most valuable one probably was the thing there about paying attention to what the intention to get away from this crime is. Like, what is the expectation? What is the lie? What is the catch? What is the thing that they think is actually going to get you away from the walk crime? Given that the whole walk around for a sandwich, probably they even may realize it's not going to stick. And pay attention to that and tell that to the public. Because, again, it's not that I'm concerned that it's going to work at any point. It's just the fact that I'm thinking that, but either way, it's going to be fantastic evidence, right? To just turn to the people and say, yeah, those are the guys that sit doing that? Yeah. They're just going to kill the guy and then deal with the things, or they're just going to make everything disappear and try to lock him up somewhere, or is going to do this, or that, or what is the actual intended. And I say emphasis on the word intended. I don't measure up many things, including my own future. I mean, I'm not sure what's going to happen. I can guarantee you things that will not. And be either from common logic, as I said before, do you think they're safe for me in prison? Like, with all the people you see around, and especially knowing what you know about me, and know the impact to have of me being murdered in custody, after all of this, do you think that, plus, it's not like I have much to lose, right? And it's not just about this, it's about just prospects in general. Again, gonna dive when the time comes, but for what you keep in mind, that like I said, I can guarantee that thing. Mine, I can guarantee some that will not happen. Others, but in more positive sense, I cannot say. I can hope, and I can work for that, but, so again, also the sense of perspective, right? You have to see me fully facing possibilities to what can happen in a realistic sense. But as I said, even on that, well, so I should say, when you see them finally starting to face a little bit of the uncertainty about the future, when the whole thing is on YouTube, because again, it's on YouTube, anyone can see it. I mean, they think they're going to be sharing that to each other, and they likely share that to each other. Do you know how YouTube works? So I'm quite sure that that's not going to play out bad for them at all. And once it does, you'll see what happens. Now, there are more serious concerns. Again, not everything is a bed of roses. We need to take care of certain precautions, but at the end of the day, that's essentially my point. I'm just saying that the feeling, as I mentioned, of the uncertainty of not knowing for sure what's going to happen, which to me is just an average fucking Tuesday, right? I mean, what is that is different than any other day? But for them, well, as I said, interesting to see type of people finally having some normal sensations. Either way, see what you may, and go from there. Oh yeah, and this is Chivoyan. Find a caveat, right? I don't do crimes, in case if it's noticed every single day for those 4 years, if they could arrest me there already. I don't do crimes. So when I say die in custody, I mean being murdered in custody after being illegally arrested or something along those lines. Again, if after all of this you think that does not have an impact, well, again, as I said. But when I said I could have given the impression that, like I actually commit crimes, and, well, it's 4 years to tell you something else. But I also like to see, sometimes I like cops nitpicking things, like the day when they did a late departure from the hotel, as if this is this sort of, what better than that, right? To even go to a reporter and say that, this guy that just murdered under our care, he left the hotel a couple hours too late one day. Some things cannot be forgiven, right? Of course, he's drugged and abused by us for 4 years, but so again, and they really think that the us is not going to be us. I mean, that's the point, right? I mean, that's what I keep saying. Is that us or is those guys? If it is those guys, we presented to you who they are, so it's going to be some punishment because what else it is us. You know how difficult to realize that is? Which means that they clearly have a plan to circumvent that. That is not difficult to realize. Even imbeciles can understand that. Which means that they understand it, they just have a plan to go around it. And I'm saying that you should just tell people about this plan. No matter what, it's going to be something that's going to be shocking. Now, it doesn't worry me at all. Again, as I said, they're not smarter than everybody else. But it is important to tell what they're planning because, again, as I said, this level of confidence in crimes, in those crimes that they're doing, is not something that will come without assurances. This is not just a casual, as I said, we think this is going to work. This is like we know. And when you have this we know mentality, and the only way that gets you out is everybody else taking the fall for you, how often you even see that in like history, let alone in guys with no influence whatsoever, right? I mean, often enough you see that for people who tend to stay on top, but random Joes, nobody Joes. Again, so as I'm just saying, and you notice I'm being very pragmatic in this. I'm generally, I like to believe I'm a pragmatist to a certain degree, but I like to believe I have an ideology. I usually tend to kind of refrain myself around the lines of not quite Churchill, more like FDR, for idealism, pragmatism, relationship, idealism, realism. So it's more pragmatic, but also still with serious ideals that I tend to stand for. So it's not the type of thing that I tend to prize on. And I truly believe that people act doing the best things, usually. What I'm saying is, even in the worst case scenarios, even in the most, the only way, just in case, because again, that's the point, just in case it's not strong enough for this level of confidence. This level of confidence that just in case, if it was just a casual, they should do the crimes either way, but they take some precautions if some other people is doing, that's understandable, right? Even some they think that their version of it is not going to be associated with this. In a case that is in the press, because again, I'm talking about legal case where you have all sorts of standards for evidence coming in and everything else. The judge is going to bottleneck a bunch of things. I'm talking about like news. So what the reports are going to say is, in the middle of this, you have this individual repeating word by word something they will say in this crime. They allege that they had nothing to do with it. That's it. That is an accurate statement of the events. You can witness those in video. None of that is false. None of that is defamatory. It's truthful. You can physically hear coming from their mouth the words that they say, and they're exactly the same words as before. I don't see how the actual thing. You can allege all you want about implications as for that, and yes, the implication is obvious that they're involved in this. I cannot conceive any other reasonable explanation other than that, and few people can. But either way, that's it. So, but I can see why they're stupid enough to actually make this connection. I cannot conceive how the other ones who do crimes more actively, particularly involving the drugs and the other stuff, would really believe that with the things you can see, that they're just going to get away with that. You can finish to realize that they are throwing drugs. They're throwing drugs in the way that they do, in the ones that they say that they do. So don't take this as me saying that this might not be real, but at the end of the day, let's assume for a second they try to claim that it is not real, then how you explain the rest? You say that nobody's at fault, because that means you say that it's us. As I said before, we are doing this to him. My powers to think that that's going to work. But I would say that the guys, again, running expensive hotels, the guys running other things that actually had nothing to do with this, will not want to take an economic hit And again, if you talk about many areas, many segments, industry, the exports, everything else, we not want to take a hit for something that they're doing. This is not even touching on actual sanctions, just people not wanting to buy things. This is just popular, which is strictly in the hands of press, right, and people. Not touching on what other governments may do or other things may happen, but again, that just on the, we know concretely, which is humans don't like war crimes usually, say from weird humans. I need to close up. The clouds are closing in. So again, as I said, I'm sure that they have a plan. I'm just saying, make sure that you actually show this quote-unquote plan. I'm sure first off that they're going to work much better than all the other ones, and that they don't involve drugs. Because again, pick up every single genius plan that they have. It doesn't involve either something absurd carried out by the time when I didn't understood what was happening. Because even these digital crimes, they still carry over from Niterói, where Tony knew what was happening, but I didn't. And we can try to circumvent to a certain degree, but a certain degree is uncircumventable. Okay, let's say I jump to buy a phone, and then they assault me one day a night. They just need one night, right? So it doesn't do me a huge deal of good. I just spend a lot of money into something that will be just as hard as this one, right? So again, as I said, keep that in mind. Those things carried up from home, where securing a home, having a home to go to, having a safe place to be, or the new stuff, or the stuff of the drugs. The one thing that they actually innovate and pay off for them. The only things realistically that they innovate with good payouts for them are either war crimes, atrocities, or crimes involving drugs. So as you see with the digital chip, which clearly affects me, war crimes, which is a variety in their own ways, but as of innovations, because the dehumanization to me are no news. The stalking is no news. Of new things that they did after I was fully conscious and able to report on this, how many of those genius ideas tend to actually have an actual payout that isn't too bad. And even the more absurd ones, like now in Paraguay, the phone that they sold me that was hacked, as I said, let's say they have sold me a phone that wasn't hacked, and instead they just got their thing and did it here at night. Would it have even made a difference? So for the genius plan to associate that with an entire city and potentially even the country, how was the payout for that one exactly? Just out of curiosity. So again, I'm just pointing that out because we know that the phone was hacked from get-go. Because as I said, by the moment I ripped open the bag on the same day, at any point the phone was out of my sight, and I can testify to you that unless the phone carrier was somehow tracking my number, so as soon as I put it down on the phone, they tracked it. And install something on the phone, which causes a vulnerability into the system, which I find almost ludicrous. They just did it themselves, then sealed again in a generic plastic bag. Keep in mind, there was nothing on top of the plastic bag. Everything was in the box itself. There was a plain generic bag that any sealer can have. Again, other than that, I don't have a special. Would it be that they give him to them by the factory hacks just for me? I don't know, dude. It's possible. Look it up. I mean, it might be something even more nefarious than you think. It might be more attached to drugs than you think. It might be more attached to a bunch of things than even I think. I don't know. Realistically speaking, what I can testify to you is in concrete matters. Again, not your average, about what they think they're going to sell to you about me. What we can testify as a matter of fact is, since the point on a purchase, on the same day, the phone showcased clear signs of being vulnerable or having an ability implemented in it and being actually invaded by someone. In the same day, I removed it from the package, and the entire period, from the moment I removed from the plastic until night, it has been under my eyes. No criminal got their hands in it. I didn't connect to anything. The only thing that I connected to was a 4G network in a blank SIM card. You couldn't even track the number. It was a blank SIM card, period. There doesn't even come with a number, right? I purchased in a random store. I put in the data, so unless that somehow they're going to attest the phone carrier can install something that affects the system. Because again, Android has protections. And they're tracking my ID number somehow, so when I register the line, because it's forced to register to ID number, it didn't work. Maybe. I tried to connect to Tony one time, to Tony's ID one time, and I think it didn't go, because there was an issue there. So that is something. But I think in comparison to that, to the other option is far more likely, given that they sold me the power bank. Remember how long it takes to charge the power bank in the early days? They sold the other phone. They sold those little guys that were hacked, including the little guy 2, the other one that I purchased now. Not 2 weeks, more than 2. But the other one that I was just showing the other day that doesn't have an audio recorder in it. Doesn't have an audio recorder. Doesn't have a video recorder that stays on. As you saw, when the video is too long, it doesn't save. Well, they made their own case for us, right? And that was the same place that purchased Hackboy as well, the other phone. So, Hackboy, Hackfuck, this one, the little guys, we start to see a pattern here. So, you train that, or the phone carrier that carries into, no. They sold me the hack to me. Now, they could have done that here at night, to be sure, but they sold the hack from that. And for that, again, also can testify is the next day when I opened the package was sealed. I checked it. I checked it all over the place. Now, theoretically, you can say that they did the repackaging here instead. And that would be a bold statement, even bolder assumption that the guy's going to come with a vacuum sealed machine to seal the phone here. But given the other evidence, I would say that that's technically a possibility. So we're dealing with some absurd things, as Sherlock Holmes would say. But yeah, the wind's picking up. I think that the rain's already raining. We need to close up the things again. We don't have the bag to move out by ourselves in case we fail to notice. As a matter of fact, it's a huge deal because my assumption was that indeed I had a bag here, and all that I was going to do now was to move out the things and have it carry one bag out. As is, though, the reality is you have 2 bags out. What do you mean? What bag do I have then? Oh yeah, one more thing. This actually has to go into this. Oh, on top of that, one more thing, just so you know. This. 1, 2. 2 being one of these. See how I went to strap? Can you see through? Yeah. All of that on the same day, then now there's one bag missing. And then you saw what Jocelyn came here to do, and then you're seeing something from there. Again, and then you see the crimes that they did to her mom. All the time spent, or 1 week, 2 weeks. Pay close attention to that one. I mean, we can move. We can double Americana and go. It's not going to be easy. Even if we have to do a 3-point movement, we can do a 3-point movement. But the impression is clear. Most likely, I'm going to say that in video. Also going to leave this video going. Oh yeah, and don't forget that the impact is clear. And this is what I'm saying about the criminals, which you see by face, and how much those criminals know everybody else. Those criminals know which drugs are being thrown, those criminals know the rest. So the fact you have disputable evidence about them that you don't depend on even a court, you can just go to the people because they're self-sustaining and convincing. The point is, it speaks for itself. As for that, the intention is for me to indeed leave the thing here, and then he, Gelson, this guy, is going to come up and throw the evidence away. He's going to say that he did that because of something to do with me, even though, again, he literally said those things should be there, mounted. And that's the point. None of this is an accident. This is very much designed for a specific purpose, which is why you see me carrying this. What I'm saying is, if at any point you see me struggling to move those things, you have one responsible, and that's it. There are the potential requirements during the night, like for instance the backpack and how it's torn apart, the criminals in dumpster country who sold me like this. Yeah, all of them have their share. It's not the point. The idea is, in practical terms, it's not just about saying things. It's about what you can do in practice. In practice, what we can do is, if you've seen those crimes and how they're happening, would you believe any chance that the criminals that you guarantee to be involved know which drugs are being thrown, and how they're being thrown, and who is doing it? Again, would you dispute that or not? It means at the end of the day, simple matter for what you see. Now, if you see some official saying that no evidence could be found and nobody's receiving any type of punishment after everything else that you've been with your own eyes, what do you think about that? And you know that they know, right? I think you can do the math. Now, again, maybe they do believe that there will be an official to say those things after everybody else is aware of everything. Really is. But as I'm saying, it wouldn't be just for hearsay. It would be something more concrete than that. And that's why I said from that video, you should pay attention to. Find whatever concrete thing it is that is assuring the criminals that they would away from the things they're going to hang for. Because again, they hanging for kind of solving a little bit, right? I mean, it does prove it's not everybody. So, but why would they so freely being a part of that? They don't look like they have thrilling lives, but I don't think they quite want to end their lives just yet. So far is the question, why are they so willing to be pawns in this, or to be doing the things they're very identified for? Because most of those things, as I said, are pretty self-explanatory. Explain to me how you can say that it's reasonable to save the whole thing mounted here, as a house, essentially. And again, he volunteered that, so even like I was asking or insisting or anything, I was doing my thing. And then somehow the next day it's not okay to have the boxes hidden away behind the place nobody can see. Sound familiar? Either way, how is that even possible? By the way, if you don't know which bag this is the food bag. I'm quite sure. This bag is the cat food bag. Every place that one, there's another one there to the same. See if that one's gonna get ragged as well. In other words, this is the one that stays here. Yes, sir, why are you using that for years? Because it's going to be ragged anyway. Might as well just use that instead of using a new one. Also, we're going to go back to ask for another one today. See if which response is going to come. I'm busy now. And this is the big one, because it has to be big, because else you cannot close. And I propose to you, what's the other option? I get down there, buy a new bag, pay another bus ticket, just to go back to the mall, one stop, because I cannot carry those things all the distance. Again, each and every single day, someone wants for that thing, always in the same places. That's very important. Because the bags don't rag by themselves. Okay. Also, it's not often in different places, it's always in the same place. And you see how careful I tend to be? So again, pay attention to that too. And the modus operandi, as I said, I showcasing the power connection for the charger. It's just what they do. All the time. Same MO. The invisible man. Again, by the way, the amount of speech coming from this, please. If nothing else, do it for me. You can see that I clearly appreciate certain comments on certain things. And a double bag to ensure that And again, it's not just because of the $5. They stop not exactly on the same place. And you say, well, you're carrying this thing from here all the way down to the bus stop. Over there, you walk less than 1 block. Half a block going, half a block coming back to, half a block going, 1 block coming back to the bus stop. But essentially, it's 1-1, right? So like 2 blocks. You're gonna walk essentially the same distance now to the bus stop there. So why is it so bad, so different? You're gonna see it. The actual explanation is because they throw a lot of drugs in the bus. Same reason they're walking there half a block, that's half. Between the bus stop to inside the mall is exhaustive to the extreme to me. And I can carry these things here back and forth with not that much issue. Even at night, if you saw me bringing it back after an entire day being abused. And I can carry it for the most part. Sometimes well, sometimes badly. Last time I was well. The other time it was badly. So, make sense of that. The other time it was lighter. There was fewer things. This time there was that, there was a box, there was a bunch of other things, and I carried all the way through with few interruptions. It's all about the drugs. Again, as I said, everything is about the narcotics they throw on me. And they throw those things always public, right? I mean, I'm going to bring it back to the bus stop. I'm going to stay there. I'm going to be inside the mall. I'm inside the bus. By getting that, the entire time in the bus, it was in public. So, and they all know that, right? That's why they're filming inside the bus as well. All those individuals know what they saw, what they didn't see. Okay? I can guarantee to you, since you know that they know me, if they saw me using any type of drug, they will be knowing, they'll be talking, they'll be filming, they'll be doing all sorts of crimes. Because you see them doing all sorts of crimes, so that's going to happen. Right? They stop it themselves. They create the expectation, the stomach. So, again, plain and simple. No halfways about it. There are different bag sizes. I just realized it now. This is the largest one. That's smaller. That's 85 by 60. This one. This one is 85 by 80. Interesting. You know how much this is smaller than, but so it makes sense for one. Yeah. Bag's not strong enough to carry. I don't know how I'm going to do it. I really don't. It rags immediately. If you put it too, it doesn't matter. Not for this one anyway. I put the entire bag and you won't hold up. It's pretty heavy. By the way, I carry this every day. So, well, we didn't know. We really didn't know. That's rare. No, the rain is coming, so we need to solve this rather quickly. Check on really know. In fact, I tell you one more. The reason why those bags keep getting ragged is because of the drugs that they throw inside the bus. So I apply that to another bus, the bus company crime. Because the simple reality is, without the bus company crimes, without the drugs inside the bus, excuse me, not the bus company crime, without specifically this crime, the drugs inside the bus, I would arrive in conditions to function, right? That's not just something that's thrown on me in the way out. And they're saying, well, what if the drugs are thrown outside the bus? It doesn't matter at all. They all know about it. That's one that would definitely know about that. It's the guys driving the thing all the time. If there's someone throwing those things in the air, they're the ones who report that to police and making sure that these places are present and everything else. And if they had not done the crimes so, I don't know if maliciously, I don't know what's coming to mind. If they don't did their crimes so explicitly and such and so clear in front of you, I imagine you had some leeway either way. But because the crimes are done in such a fashion, again, good luck trying to convince someone else that they were just not wanting to get involved when they clearly want to get involved in this crime, which in itself is very marketable. You can just say that you're not willing to get involved in someone releasing drugs in the bus you're carrying on the elderly, children, everybody else inside. but you'll be willing to get involved in a crime and abusing one person. I'm proud to them. Again, whatever they think is going to stick, I'm just saying to you that, so that's the reality. This is how we're going to have to move those 4 boxes, 4 bags, the bags. Don't know how I'm going to do that. And therefore, you can count that is 4. Because I'm not leaving her here. I would if her mother was here, because her mother will go after her. The baby somewhat cares for her, but right now, what is the baby? I don't know what the baby is. The baby's safe, but he's not here. Also, I'm checking the baby. Ain't no way that I'm actually now leaving without checking her. And it's about the time he shows up anyways. Should be have food. So. What is that? Yeah, one of those bags. I should have used one of those inside. Another one. Change it for the cat. For her box. That is. So final one for that. So again, I don't know how I'm gonna carry this. Plus that, plus this, plus her box with her inside. Yelling probably. We're gonna do the 2 trips, then try again. I was gonna deal with that. That was the next problem, big problem to solve by the time they kidnapped her mom. So keep that in mind as well, because they seem to know those things. Those are not crime, they let you know at several points. So keep that in mind. Don't know what those criminals are. They're not releasing drugs, but they're probably stalking. So, attention to that. Remember the entitlement of that they have over there on the other side? Yeah, I'm not leaving. We need to find the baby first. Baby! Baby! Notice my voice. Baby's dead. Baby's fine. Okay, we're good. Never mind. Yeah, as I said, everything's soft, everything's sliding, everything's calm. I'm gonna bind the finger, bind the back, get everything working. And this time, it won't make a difference. I say that now, and it makes sense now until the drugs and war crimes are so bad that I would don't think it's that as important to care for a $3 bag while I'm dealing already with a bunch of other war crimes at the same time. So relax on the bag, relaxing on the bag. They go there and they rip their full out as they do all the time. Okay. Now note that the bag isn't the ones that get ripped off are more often than not, that one, the one for that bag, which is the lightest one. The one is the heaviest, often is the least one damaged, because the one that I keep closer watch over, only now when the other ones are already damaged, they're targeting that one. So pay attention to that. The bag that get ripped the most is the one with the smallest weight, largest size, so they think that they're smart, but smallest weight, by far, it's empty bottles, right? And gets just carried to the side. The one, phone call from this number here, filmed on the little guy. The one that gets ripped the least is the one with the highest weight, the heaviest, the one that gets put in my back and taken out of my back every time. The one that carries that one I pay more attention to, at least until recently. Now again, it's targeting that more because the other ones are already destroyed. This one is kind of hit and miss, which is by far the heaviest, the second heaviest. It'll be heaviest if it has a lot of food inside, but it varies, which again is why they target this one after, right? Because it's big and it has a bunch of Coca-Cola inside. But you fail to notice that one is always heavy and the one is always coming back and on from the back, which is far easier to rip. So as I said to you, very clearly, that's it. Okay? So, everyone should see in the crimes. There are tons of criminals doing that. The objective is to cause me not to be able to move, or other things. Although I'm sure they're going to have a very plausible justification for you to do that. Like, for instance, just some hate crime, right? Because that makes it all better. So, again, regardless, though, that's good because that's an admission, and we like those. So, how power to the things gonna work? I would say to listen to them closer. Somehow I have to carry this because if I leave this here, it's gonna be masked by them. Not quite thrown out. To be funny, he's thrown out his own, the code that he gave to me. It's very easy to ridiculous. My fear is not they're gonna throw out. My fear is they're gonna throw something in. And then at night, as we're trying to sleep, there'll be other things. You see a bunch of the things that they're throwing on her. So, you can listen to that too. So, it's 2:12:21. But to get there, probably going to take what normally is 5 minutes. It's going to take about half an hour easily. Easily. If that doesn't happen, I don't know how I'm going to carry this in. It's no means they destroyed it completely. Again, this thing is designed to be tension to the top. Once that gets ripped off entirely, as you saw there, the bag ripped doesn't even have a stump back. It's virtually impossible to carry. Again, as you saw there. Let me see how I'm going to do this. Ideally, I'll move as forward as possible. Then I come up, pick her up, because she's going to be yapping the entire way. You know what? She doesn't have to be in the box. But I don't know if she's going to follow me. If she's not. She might want to come back, which I would understand. But as you saw where she's sleeping, as saw the baby is sleeping, yeah, that's the problem. I cannot trust that she would be there. That should be there. Again, they ripped her mother from her. A couple days before the coldest day of the year. Before, again, I love to the excuses. Do relate to people's excuses on that one as well. Because I can almost guarantee you, obviously I cannot guarantee, but I can almost say there is something on the lines of they thought that the code was actually before. Now that's a real reason. I mean, the excuse is going to be something stupid. But the real reason was probably something on those lines of the code came too late. Like they were expecting the code that to be prior, and by then they already had all the time set up. And instead of moving it away, they say, "Well, what sense does it make? The crime is just kidnapping a cat." Because no, it's not. The crime is kidnapping a cat and broadcasting that to everybody else, but you see that everybody else knows, and that was already scheduled, right? That doesn't happen, then it's no longer on schedule. Then it's no longer planned. Now, it might be for a variety of reasons. Maybe it's to sell the idea of normalcy. Maybe it is to some type of bullshit in relation to the word. They just had that schedule and they thought that it was good enough to change. They didn't saw the problem with the cat disappearing before for no reason at all in a random day. So it happened after they did a massive list of narcotics. But that's on them. That doesn't make it any better, quite to the contrary, right? Again, take from that what you will. I don't know how long even that one's gonna last. So essentially we don't have a single bag left. All the bags are ripped to the point of being completely useless at the same time. In a time span of what, 3 days, 5 days? Because up to then, all of them were coming. Maybe. Yeah, that face sit in. That's the face of that crime. As well as this and that. There. There. We should just face down, nose first into that thing. Try to put her in a place. I don't know if she's gonna stay. Try to stay, baby. Try, baby. Come on, come on, baby, come. Yeah, baby, come. Let's fall down a little bit. Just a little bit. Stay. The coast opens up. Which one, no, Mama quer eu put that. Is she stable? It's so I want her to stay in the hood. Don't use the hood. No, baby, stay in the hood. Stay in the hood. Oh, dear Lord. Please stay in the hood, baby. We're good as long as you stay in the hood. Don't fall in the back. We can go like this. And God knows we don't have another choice. So. Oh, and I see something else going to make you easily hate them. You see how upset they are whenever they do some crime to me and I just bypass the crime. Particularly if you do that in stride, which is always happens. Some of the times it happens just stumbling. Most of the time it happens stumbling. But sometimes it happens in stride. And I just want to point out to you, baby, you are so precarious now. You don't have any strap there because you cannot, the nail doesn't go into the hole. It's not like it hadn't seen it coming. Baby. Now, I want to point out that the criminal truck is speeding up into intersection. See the stop sign? Yeah, you may be thinking, if you're an American, you may be thinking, what the fuck did just happen? Yeah, welcome to Brazil. Stop signs are just a decoration feature. I never heard in my life anyone being sanctioned for not stopping on a stop sign. As I said, they're just a feature. They are a decoration feature. Just maybe try to stay in. So this is doable. She had to jump one time and see how it feels. Because she jumps and she's thinking the same thing that happens when she's jumping normally. And it's not because of momentum, right? She had a practical physics lesson. Come. We're gonna have to go put the things all the way there first, pick her up, put the other things all the way there. That's what I said. This is a half an hour set easily. There's gonna be another one there. You don't have any clue how I'm gonna do that by the bag because she cannot be on the floor with that. Hopefully she's gonna stay inside the box sleeping. Hopefully. Oh, also another thing. The thing that he gave to me, theoretically, and I'm gonna do that tomorrow. I can seal it and leave it here because then if they mess with it, I will know, and I'll show it to you immediately. Kind of like the cat toys over there. It's something that speaks for itself, you know. My issue is with too close to home. She's just gonna walk back because she doesn't wanna come. Just like it's saying that to the baby when the baby goes like, no, I wanna go with you. You're like, you don't. You really don't. I can guarantee you don't wanna come with me. And you can see that for Chip's behavior. Although he does want to explore the world, he's far more adventurous than she is. I don't even know where she is. Like, over there, those things are very precarious. You cannot take their eye from there for a second. Where the fuck are you, baby? This is why she cannot be out of the box. That's quite precarious. By the way, the criminals are leaving from the place for the pills from. Pay attention to that, yeah? Also, you saw she was sleeping, right? Again, as I said, she cannot be left here. She doesn't know. All she knew was someone was protecting her, and all of a sudden someone was ripped off from her and never came back. She doesn't know. Chip! We're gonna have to bring the things back. Are you fucking kidding me? Chip! Baby. Wanna poop? Oh, Christ alive. That's not the time. Yeah, I have to stay here. Oh yeah, no, but that's a blasting. That's a huge blasting. Not even in the skies. That's a blasting in the open. She pooping here means that she won't be pooping in the box. Come, Chip, come. If she follows me, that'll be so easy if she does. Fucking crazy. Come. Come, baby. So crazy. But you people those fucking things. You want to see the stop sign again? As I said, nobody stops the stop sign. Again, as I said, this is nothing compared to the fire hazard you've seen the other days. Again, as I said, the smoke, the fumes, the smell of gas, everything that will make anyone from a real country just jaw drop. But I do want to point out doesn't like them. I don't like them either. Like trains. And we're gonna have more trains soon. That's all foreshadowing. You're gonna have to bear working. But again, nothing makes more explicit than this. Just seeing how they ripped not one, not even two, but from 3 bags. to the point where up to now I had the 15 bags. I think one of them was damaged, but was usable. Right now, every single bag is neutralized. Every single one. One of which is not even like at all anywhere. I don't know where it went. And the other ones in this state. So you saw how difficult things were later before, and you thought that I was overreacting to that. I knew the things were going to get harder, and as you've seen that. So again, takes everything that I do in the perspective of someone who's being abused in this crime for almost 4 years. Not someone just experiencing that for the first time right now and then thinking they know what's happening, right? And I'm not saying about the criminals. The criminals have watched that for more than 4 years. The criminals actually have known this crime for probably since it started. So I'm not referencing them. I'm referencing probably you, some of you who might have showed up and think that they know what's happening. Because they've seen a couple times, a couple things, and they think that they understand. No, they don't. No, they don't. If that's what you think. And again, you think that this is over? This is not over. The bus doesn't stop in front of the shop. This is going to be the same thing when you get there, except that right now it's easier for her, it's easier for the thing. Over there it's going to be everything but this. That is not accounting for any other crime that I have tried to think of. I'm already accounting for the drugs in the bus. I know I wasn't. I was thinking about it, but I didn't say it. So yeah, there are going to be a lot of drugs in the bus. It's going to be nearly impossible to do this. Too far away. Yeah, she might end up escaping. So this is what we call a 3-point thing. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. In shit country, I do that a lot. Again, if you ever think a guy like me, I don't think I'm politically correct, but I do like to understand the meaning of certain words in context. And when you say something like shit country or shit people, that carries, especially in the context. And if you think you understand this crime after saying that. And again, I'm not saying that everyone born in Argentina is necessarily shit, as I said that before. Much like dumpster country, right? Is the concept that the idea that the crimes have consequences. And to be fair, there's a big difference. Just like before, not expecting you to go out there to do harm to people for being Argentinians or for being dumpster people. At all. But saying that carries more. Especially if you understand the things that they say, the things that they infer, and everything else. So as I said, it is meaningful. Every time you hear her cry, every time you mean those things. And as I said, all those things that are no solutions for, because atrocities are war crimes. Baby, we're going. War crimes or atrocities or gunshots to cause this. And I said, well, reason going? Well, first off, we need to buy the bags. Secondly, staying here is going to end this crime. Thirdly, the drugs are always tamer in the morning. They really hammer down them now, around noon, and they really hammer them down in the afternoon. Secondly, they could interfere with the phone, so I'd not be able to do transfers in a more effective way rather than just about anywhere else. Perhaps as much as the mall, but not better than other places. Baby, you're gonna have to calm down. You peed already. I know you don't want to, but don't have a choice. Listen, I don't enjoy that. Okay? She keeps rubbing her head against this as well. which might be that she's feeling itchiness or pain in the wound in her head, and that might be as a consequence of the crime. Not quite half an hour yet, but also not quite there yet. Couldn't check on the bus. It's nice that we're here already though, because it means you're right on the shorter side of the period in which the bus can pass. So if we pass, we're covered. Even if it tries fast now, it's shifting. I don't know why she's not good inside. She was beautifully asleep, as you saw. She's been several days without having to go through this, so she doesn't want to go through that again. We know how stressful it is to her, and again, all of that because I decided it would be funny to snatch her mother from her. And again, as I keep saying, I don't claim to speak for the Lord, but if someone would ask me why I'd say that the weather didn't kind of help out, probably according to the expectations, there was this, right? Well, now they don't have even that as an excuse. She'll say she was there, and she was no longer. They're going to say it has nothing to do with them, you're not going to believe them, and that's what it is. There's no over there. Notice how Chip was terrified from the house when he saw that, and the child for some reason. I actually don't know the correlation to that. I was not even what I was expecting for this time. She wasn't even afraid of the dog. That much I can testify. I saw. She wasn't that concerned about the dog, even the dog was barking. But she was afraid of the child. And she's not afraid of people, as you see in the mall. She interacts with them normally. Doesn't catch too much. But also not too little. So. So the noises that the criminal kept making, just let you see the attitude. So know that this was some type of noise that they think affects me, and there was some type of marketing in relation to that, but mostly this lag of the behavior. Again, keep in mind, it's not that they don't understand how reacting in public to people works, because they have been using this type of thing against me for the past years, right? Except that in that case, it's a lie. I didn't force the criminal to say that, I didn't chase that. It chose to do all the things it did. Even though it's not that much, I'm just pointing at you. So, that's for the rest. So as I said, the best way to use this, in my opinion, is once you know everything. Once you know the substances, once you know the accusations about the main things, but you don't even to be everything. Just the main thing. Just go back to public. And relay. Simple as that. The female attentional encouragement problem. Nothing is different other than the fact that she's not inside here. Yesterday she was inside, but as you can see they destroyed it. Surprised how it didn't finish dragging it. Suppose it kinda did. No babe, you have to look with me now. So you say how many bags I buy. I don't know. I need 3. You saw the ratio in which it was going, and you're gonna see how things are gonna go. But keep that in mind. Also, I want a bag slightly smaller than this. It's too big. Matter of fact, this bag was no, it's not perfect. It needs to be bigger than this. I think it should go in the shoulder.